Hey all, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to give the motorcycle side of my channel a little bit of love. Today we are going to install some aux lights that go on my crash bars here. So these allow you to be seen, and they also allow you to have a little bit more light than the actual stock V-Strom has. Now, some of you may know that I had aux lights before, and they are these. These are the cheapest, flimsiest, look at this. You can bend them with your hand, aux lights that I got off AliExpress. I think that they came in at like $22 or $23 Canadian delivered from China. And they lasted, I don't know, they lasted about a year and then they died. So what I did was I bought some new ones, and I didn't buy really expensive ones. I did a little bit of research on Amazon, and I found something that was about $80 Canadian, and the link is below. This is not a sponsor, this is a review, so if they're garbage, it's on them. They look a little bit better, and I'm going to do the unboxing right now. So, motorcycle external spotlight LED. What's in the box, folks? All right, there's some 3M tape, some nice thick gauge for once, wiring harnesses, whereas this came with like, I don't know what gauge that is, but it's super thin and it's pretty much garbage. So it comes with a wiring harness. It comes with some hardware and an Allen key, and it comes with mounting brackets that look universal-ish. Some more screws. More mounting hardware. And I want to show you the lights. The lights are what impressed me. These are the lights, and they're really solid. Looks like cast aluminum. These are two-way action. They have a high-low beam, they have a white beam, and they have an amber beam. And I'm going to be using the amber beam just to be seen, because if anybody's behind you, amber, it's a highly contested thing. Does amber cut through fog better, or does it shine brighter? No, it actually makes me seen better. I know that I won't get more lumens out of it than the white light, because the white light apparently, if you go down the rabbit hole, has been proven to throw more lumens and make the road easier to see at night. I want to be seen, so I'm going to be using the amber. So let's figure out where I'm going to route it first. Okay, folks, so here's the wiring harness. We have a positive and negative that goes to the battery with pre-installed rings, which is good, and we have a fuse on the positive, which is very important. Then this goes into a block which separates off the on-off button that I have to figure out where to mount. I may mount it on my dash. That's going to be something interesting where I figure out where that's going to be mounted. And then we have the left and right simple plug and play connectors that go to the lights. So let's see what happens, folks. All right, so fitment. I am thinking of putting them where I had my other ones on these GV crash bars on the inside, so that they're touching a little bit of the plastic. And my last ones I had touching the plastic as well, and that really surprisingly cut down on vibration of the crash bars themselves. That 5200 RPM harmonic buzz that comes from the front there is sort of buffered if I have the light sort of in between the plastic of the in between, excuse me, in between the plastic of the fairing and the crash bar itself. So yes, it may crack if I ever drop the bike. It may crack the fairing, but you know, worse things are going to happen if I drop the bike. So yeah, I'm going to bolt these in place, and I'm going to bolt them in lightly so that I'll be able to adjust. I'll fine tune. I'm going to turn around and aim the light at the garage door there in the dark and get everything fine-tuned. So I'm going to get these bolted on, and then we're going to go about routing the harness through the bike, which is a bit of a pain in the butt, but here we go. One thing I forgot to mention is that for these bolts, they're in a high vibration area, so I am thinking of using a little bit of blue Loctite on everything so that it doesn't vibrate loose, because on the other junky ones, those ones there, everything would vibrate loose. Even Loctited, it was just like, it was terrible. So I'm going to Loctite everything because it's in a high vibration area. Those crash bars vibrate, as you know, everybody who owns a V-Strom with those crappy GV crash bars, they already know the vibrations are immense. So after much deliberation, I figured out where to mount the controls. They're extremely weirdly shaped. So, you know, I was thinking of something like this. Nah. I'm going to mount it just like so. Right there. I'm going to drill a tiny hole there, and I'm going to drill a tiny hole there. I'm going to put a screw through this one, and I'm going to put a zip tie through this hole around through another little hole. And yeah, we're going to go from there. I'm just jury rigging this up, folks. So I have popped off the plastic here so I could get in on it. I've drilled 2 small holes, 2 there, and 1 small hole there. I am going to zip tie this, and I'm going to put a nut and bolt through this, and I'm going to put Loctite on it. So with this kit, there are little boots that cover up the electrics in here. So I am going to electrical tape around this base, and that will hold it firmly in place. But up around here, it's just sitting loose up against this nut. So I'm going to ensure that these nuts are tight first of all. And then I am going to do something like a little tiny once around with Weld, which will build a bond between this edge and around there. I could use silicone, but I don't want to wait for it to dry, so Weld it is. Okay, so I gave it a bit of time. The Weld is now stuck to the plastic cover and the nut there, so I shouldn't get much water leaking through there. Even if it did, I think it's good, and I have this all electrical taped up on the bottom, so it looks like I'm good to start the install of this and see if I can get my bike back together. So I have a screw with Loctite going down through there, and this is zip tied on there, and that is absolutely not going anywhere. Now I got to see if I can get this fairing thing put back. Yeah, we'll see. Surprisingly, I was able to get all this stuff back together because I've never had it apart before, and it's back together, which is pretty awesome. Now, that is where I mounted this. Why you would make a mounting bracket that looks like this? It's really inconvenient. Like, come on, folks. Whoever made this, mounting brackets are not supposed to look like hockey sticks. Yeah. So that's strike one against these people that made this. So let's see how it works. Okay, so the cables from the buttons are routed around this post here, going back through. Let's see here, underneath the tank to a connector to the rest of the harness. So I'm going to electrical tape this all up real good, and then route the harness back here somewhere for the big box thing to hide. And then I'll connect it up to the, no, I'm not going to connect it up to the battery yet because I still have to install the lights. So lots more wiring, folks. So I've decided to mount the lights before I do all the wiring, just so that I can accommodate for this much wire to be routed through my bike back to the, hopefully the battery box where it joins up, or the battery box area. So this connects to this via these two screws here, or these two screws here. So I am going to use some thread lock on those because I know they're going to vibrate out. So stay tuned. So the roughed in placement of these lights are on the inside of my crash bar. I put thread lock on this. I put thread lock on this. But in hindsight, I probably should have put thread lock in when after the adjustment. After I do the phase of the adjustment of the lamps, you know, getting them even and up and down. So yeah, that's my bad. Put thread lock on at the end. So I'm now going to route this wire through here just to get it out of the way. Like so. And then up under here, up through the frame. And hopefully it'll meet somewhere underneath this where I need to figure out how to get this wiring harness attached to these wires. Now, the instructions are as follows, which simply say, connect the lamp harness to the connector. And you would think that the research and development put into making this product, they would spend 10 seconds to actually write some actual diagrams instead of this, which is kind of sad. So that's strike two for this guy. So I have the light in place. The cable routed back to here where it's, I spliced the wires yellow to white, red to red, black to black, and I'm going to clean this up here. I have it temporarily attached to my battery. Now let's see what happens. There's two buttons here. One is, ooh, look at that, that's pretty bright. And the other is there. So these are going to be, because they're mounted sideways, these are meant to be a fan of light. They're going to be up and down, so I have to be careful not to blind people in traffic, but these are for me to be seen. So that is the amber. That is the white. And that's both. So if you can see there, you can turn them on and off independently. White, amber. So yeah, I'm getting there. Let's get the other side on, wired up, the wiring cleaned up from the first one and tucked away, and then we'll be good to go. And then I'm going to turn off the lights in the garage, and I'll give you a little demo on the garage door there. Let's see. Okay, folks, so I have the second one all roughed in, just temporarily tested. Now let's hit the button and see if they both come on or not. So we have this one here is for the white light, and boy, that's bright. That's on, and that's on, so that's good. And the amber light on and on, which is good. Let's try them both at once. White and amber. And as you can see, the light is supposed to fan out like this, but I have them on their side, so it's fanning up and down like this. So I have to be very careful in traffic that I don't blind people. But yeah, this is, I'm going to start tucking wires in and all that sort of stuff. I'll show you when I'm done. So I've saved you from the boring parts of me just routing wires and zip tying stuff. So I'm going to show you how nice and clean this is. we got the light. Wiring goes up under there. We have the brick that came with it that's got the controllers. Get that down over there. Everything's zip tied up there. I could have taken some length out of these wires, but I don't know. I just zip tied them up for now. And same thing with that side. Wiring comes up and around, and I've used copious amounts of electrical tape just to keep the water out of everything. I don't go deep in this like I do on my ATV, but yeah. So I'm gonna put the seat back on. I'm gonna flip the bike around. I'm gonna turn the lights out in here, and we're gonna see what it looks like. There's gonna be some adjustment that I need to do, left and right, up and down with the lights. But I'll do that before I test it for you. All right, folks, so here we are in the garage. This has the 2019 Suzuki V-Strom 650 low beam. And as you can see, it's pretty weak. Now, that's with high beam, and that's how I normally drive during the day. So now let's kick on the white lights. And you can see they are high. This is so I am seen on roads at night. I will turn this off when there is oncoming traffic. And then we have the amber, and we can see that I need to adjust one of them a little bit lower, which is fine. So that's with everything. And it is a lot of light, and it's getting thrown high in the air. So I am going to lower these just in case, because I don't want to blind anybody. Again, this is absolutely blasting light. But that being said, here it is. This is the install. That's the control. Yeah, lower your lights, folks. That's a little too high. So I am going to lower it. I'm not going to bore you guys with the details, but it's just simply lowering the angle of these lights. So thanks very much for stopping by. I appreciate it as usual. I'm going to be mixing in some motorcycle content with my ATV content. If you're here for the motorcycle content, check out my ATV content. There's a lot of bangers in there. Thanks. Like, share, subscribe.